a lot of stuff on the P. Diddy stuff. And the reason I wanted to talk about P. Diddy is because to me, it seems to be like all these distractions are coming and this story is it's almost like they're waiting it out. Like, it's just like, let's see how long we could ride this out before people just forget about it. Maybe we can either just move on from it or something like that.
Well, like yesterday, this huge documentary on it dropped on Peacock, and they're making a lot of crazy allegations there. I think what's going on, honestly, is well, I have two theories. First of all, there were so many news stories and so many new cases that, like, now when a new case comes up, it like barely even breaks the surface of anyone's interest. Example, yesterday, another lawsuit came against Diddy where a 16-year-old claims that he assaulted her. And I looked at like, dude, normally I would have been on that story. I mean, I'm going to do a video about it, but there's no, I don't know. There's no urgency because that's like, oh, a 16-year-old says that, Diddy drugged and sexually assaulted her. It's like par for the course. It doesn't even, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many of them now that it just doesn't even, but also when the trial starts, it's gonna pick back up. Here's the other thing, though. That story about Jay Z that just kind of really picked up steam in the last couple, last week or whatever, where this guy who's been claiming that Jay Z is his biological father for literally like 12 years, trying to get him to do a paternity test, and Jay Z's been ducking him. And this guy looks exactly like Jay Z.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah. And what happened is this week, the reason why it caught steam again is because the guy mentioned in an interview that he thinks the reason why Jay Z's not willing to do a paternity test is because if he is in fact his father, they're going to go and do some simple math and figure out that his mom was 16 when she got pregnant. And so that's why it's picking up steam. So I did a video about that. Yesterday, the day before, and the numbers are horrendous. And I've noticed that every time I do a video about Diddy, it does certain numbers. If I do one about just Jay Z, it does terrible numbers. I think that, if I was going to hypothesize, I think being friends with the Obamas might help your ability to limit reach on stories you don't like, in the event that you don't want people reading about you potentially fathering a guy, with a 16-year-old and then pretending he doesn't exist for 30 fucking years,
Definitely have the same nose, for sure.
I mean, he has to be have been told by his mother that that's who the kid is,
Yeah. And that's a picture of her with Jay Z right there.
Right
it looks
there.
like.
Oh,
come
my
on.
God.
Come on, dude. Should I play this? Do you want to hear this?
I mean, will we get in trouble?
I don't.
I mean, we're not.
I
Get
don't know.
us in trouble. Let's just see.
I mean, bottom line though is the guy. I watched some interviews with this dude, and he's like, he's really, really calm. He's really humble when he says, I just want to know the truth. And I believe him. I actually believe him. Normally when people, it's not about the money. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But this guy, he comes off extremely genuine, where I'm like, man, I actually kind of hurts my heart a little bit. Like where he's like, I just want to know if he's my father. And then he did say one thing about holding people accountable, where I'm like, I mean, and his mom's dead now. His mom just died. And so there's got to be a part of him now. You've been doing this for 11, 12 years. The guy's a billionaire. Your mom was trying to get this done for 10 years. And he's 31 years old now, and she was 16 when she got pregnant. So you're looking at your own kids like, this fucking cocksucker got my mom pregnant when she was 16, and he's been ducking me for 30 years. I don't know. Like, I could see him. I don't know. I mean, I think I would have more animosity than he seems to have.
Well, I get it. And, we're kind of in this weird place right now where, like, I think conversations, you're allowed to have more and more of the taboo conversations.
Yeah.
And, when I hear about this guy that isn't in his kid's life, it makes me so sad.
Yeah.
And what must do to black women, black girls, when the notion is that, we hear it all the time in comedy. We hear it all the time in rap. I didn't know my dad. I didn't know my dad. I didn't know my dad. And we know what effect that has on girls. If your dad is not in your life, it's not good. It's just real hard.
Yeah.
And I do believe that is one of the things in life that, you know, spiritually, if you're not in your children's life, it does a lot of damage to you spiritually.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about this case is like, I do. Okay. Let's say that it is his kid, right? Now, I do understand that. Let's just say that Jay Z is not a guy who habitually has sex with teenagers, right? And let's just say that, like, when he was 25 years old, you know, he had sex with a super hot 16-year-old girl. It's the only time he ever did it, you know, and obviously, I mean, whatever, right? Let's just say, give him the absolute stone benefit of the doubt. I even knowing, like, okay, I can't have anything come out publicly that says that I impregnated the 16-year-old. I'm still going to do whatever I have to do to find out whether or not this is my kid. Like, I'll go to him, I'll have him sign a non-disclosure agreement and be like, look, I want to get to the bottom of this too, because if you are my son, we're going to, you know, like, I want to be in your life. Non-disclosure agreement, you even like come up with financial terms potentially that if I am in fact his father, then this, and this. Because forget about the legal aspect, forget about the monetary aspect. I can't, like, if there was a dude running around 20 years younger than me that might be my biological son, I can't fucking deal with that. I need to know if that's my kid. And if it's my kid, I want to be in his life, especially if he's giving interviews and he's like a smart, humble kid that's like, I just want to know if he's my dad. I would not be able to sleep knowing that kid was out there, not knowing whether or not it was my kid, especially if he looked like me and I knew that I had slept with his mom. Like, I would have to know personally. I would have to know.
I agree, dude.
Unless I thought my wife might kill him, then maybe I would.
Oh yeah, or your wife might kill
That's fair.
you.
Yeah.
But
sure,
I mean, like,
but this is way before he was together with Beyonce, though. Way before.
No, but I'm saying now, like, for him not to acknowledge it, you know, like, at this point.
But that also sets a precedence because, you know, there is a lot of timeline. I saw something that broke down the timeline of Jay Z and Beyonce. He met her when she was 15.
Yeah. Yep.
And, you know, there's a lot of weirdness with Beyonce.
Yes.
Why she blew up out of that whole group.
Yeah.
And, you know, her and J-Lo, they have a lot of dark energy, dude. And, you know, when you look at these P. Diddy's and Jeffrey Epstein stuff, all the most annoying celebrities are always connected to them. Always. You're like, why is this person famous? Oh, they have a connection to P. Diddy or they have a connection to Jay Z. And, you know, someone like Kevin Hart, who I'm going to be honest with you, the last time I talked to Kevin Hart had to be like over 20 years ago. So I haven't talked to that dude in a while. When I talked to him, nicest guy. Last time I saw him, he's like, hey, every time I see you, you get better and better. I'm like, thank you, dude. And then he just kind of blew up. And he was one of those guys that, like, early on, he had failure after failure. And they kind of failed up. And then that Shaquille O'Neal, what blew Kevin Hart up was Shaquille O'Neal All-Stars.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So
I'm not even familiar with it.
Shaquille O'Neal, you know, I think it was kind of just right after it was while he was doing while he was still playing. He started like a thing where he would go on tour and he found his favorite comics and he put them on tour. And Kevin Hart
Comedy Jam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal's All-Star Comedy Jam. And the first one was with Kevin Hart. There's a couple other guys. I think Corey Holcomb was on that.
Yeah, hold on. I got the cover here.
But they all kind of blew up in their own
It's like
way.
Cedric the Entertainer.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of the other guys, if I'm being honest. Hold on. Bringing it over to you.
That's got to really suck if everyone else blew up and you're on it and you didn't blow up.
That is sad, though.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah. David Arnold. Yeah. Oh, D-Ray. Rest in peace, David Arnold. Did jokes on his Netflix special about vaccine hesitancy and then died of a giant.
Oh, God, that guy.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
He was a good dude, man. He was a good dude. I remember.
Is that D.L. Hughley right there?
Yeah, that's D.L. Hughley, who is so hilarious. I think it was my first stand-up.
Is that Earthquake?
Earthquake.
Right here? Second from, is that Earthquake?
No, that is Lavelle, who was with Bill Burr on Breaking Bad. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That might be D.L. Hughley at the back, but I don't know. D.L. Hughley.
That's D.L. Hughley right
No.
D.L. Hughley's up front.
Yeah,
this is
Cedric the Entertainer is the guy in the hat.
This is a different image.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. But D-Ray blew up off that. The point is like, so he blew up off that, but his TV shows weren't getting picked up, all this stuff. And then he's just everywhere, And now he's like the only, you see them running old commercials of him, and the only people running new commercials with Kevin Hart is Chase Bank. And Chase Bank is directly connected to Epstein.
That's
and BlackRock and every other thing.
That's a bad
right? It's like so crazy.
I've often wondered how obviously there are major gatekeepers to get to the level of fame that someone like Kevin Hart has, or like Katy Perry, or like that upper echelon. It's like there's got to be some kind of very secret kind of vetting process that none of us are privy to, because they can't just give that amount of reach and influence to anyone unless they know they're going to fucking stay in line and not start, saying what they think, if what they think is going to cost these people money. You know what I mean? It's like, or expose things that they don't want people talking about. So, I mean, the thing that makes the most sense is like, well, what kind of dirt we got on that guy? I don't know if you've been watching Candace Owens' coverage of like the Macron stuff.
It's so good, dude.
It's great, dude. And it makes such perfect sense. And they're like, where the fuck did this guy come from? And it's like, oh, well, we knew that his wife's a dude, and she started dating him when he was 15. And so obviously we knew no matter what we tell this fucking guy to do, he's going to do it. Otherwise, we'll expose the fact that his wife might be a male pedophile. It's like, damn, that's a lot of leverage, like.
Well, it used to be if you were gay, they would control you through that blackmail. But now society's gotten to the point where it's like live and let live, and the majority of us have a line, and that is kids.
100%.
Obviously not hurting anybody, and women in particular, even though the Me Too movement has just done so much damage to all of that. But like the line for most sane, common sense people, don't hurt kids. Even if you go back to the Jay Z stuff, when he was like 28 and she was 16, it was just not seen the same way that way. It was just a different thing. Like, it's just like the way people look at pedophilia now, as they should, is way different than how people looked at people in the 90s. How it was just a different energy. It wasn't the same thing. And now it's like, because we realize that it does giant harm on women or girls when they're forced to have adult relationships with adults compared to when they're kind of learning with kids their own age. It does great damage. Now, we've also gotten savvy enough to go, if your teacher, male or female, regardless, you have sex with your students, you're going to jail for the equal amount of time. Like, it's caught up with us. It's the old South Park thing. It's like, yeah, my teacher had sex with me. Oh, cool. Right?
No, they go, nice.
And that's
that episode is so funny, dude. No. Quick, go arrest him because he has a hot, blonde, sexed up teacher. Nice. That episode is so funny, dude.
Right? And our reaction to it is like,
totally.
We would all do it too.
Yeah. And that episode, though, they have the blonde dime piece teacher and Ike, who's like 3.
God, that show's so funny. It's amazing.
They're so fucking smart, dude. They're hilarious.
But it's like, yeah, you're like, if every one of us was a 15-year-old boy at some point.
Yes. Oh, dude, I remember it very well.
If I could knock the bottom out of Mrs. Yeaman, I would have not. I remember being in like, I want to say 6th grade. And she's like, came to the back. She was so hot. And she was like, I know it's really hot out here. I go, why don't you take your shirt off? I was like, she's like, what?
You're on. I'm going to be a stand-up comic when I'm older, by the way. In case you haven't picked up on that from that comment.
Slinging it, dude.
Dude, we might have had a chance, me and some of my friends. This woman was later accused of that we got vibes off of.
Oh,
Like, so it was,
Dude, it's always the girl you could have fucked and you didn't are the ones that haunt you forever. Like the girls that you banged 1,000 years ago, like you never think about them, but like that same time period, it might have been 20 years ago, but you're like, God, I think I could have smashed that. I fucked it up, and you never stop thinking about it the rest of your life.
I in high school had no game with women, none. But I went to college, it was insanity, right? But I learned just lessons the hard way because I was like most white guys who are like programmed by Hollywood to be like, women just want to be respected. Yeah. They just want you to respect them. So like I would have these insanely hot chicks sleeping in my bed, and I'm like, I'm gonna respect them and not try to have sex with them. And then the next day, they would literally be like, fuck you, don't ever call me again. I go, what? And I would lose friendships with them because I wouldn't hit it. And I'm like, if you're sleeping in my bed, it's a sign that it could be go time.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, you find out they're not in because they'll pretend to be asleep. And you're like, oh, all right, clearly she's sleeping, does not want this. At least that was the move back in the day. Was like, she's like, oh, okay, so I'm trying to hook up with her. Now she's doing the like, oh, I'm asleep. You're all right, cool. And then you just go to sleep. But I've thought about this a million times that like I don't even know what the fucking rules are now. I've been with Gabrielle for 18 years.
God
so like, you go back to my day in college and it's, I mean, you hear these stories like you're supposed to get verbal agreement, every time you want to advance what's happening. You're like, that's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Like that shit is just weird.
Well, it's also that there was a time, and Bill Burr did a joke about that, where no meant try harder.
You're absolutely right.
Right?
Yeah.
Try harder. And unfortunately now it's like if a girl does that, you got to stop.
Yeah.
You can't even play that game anymore.
Yeah. There was soft no and hard no. I knew the difference though. Like I was
yeah, we all did.
Yeah, soft no and hard no are not the same thing. And any girl that was hot back then will tell you the same thing. They'll be like, yeah, dude, like if I said, because a lot of times no means no, and other times no means I'm going to do this, but I'm not a whore. Just so you know that.
Yeah.
I'm not a whore. But this is gonna happen. Like this is not a real no. This is I'm not a whore no. You know what I mean?
It's French resistance is what I call it. It's like we gotta fire our guns just to make it look like we tried, and then
yeah, for sure, dude. And now because the Me Too movement's come, and it just doesn't matter how many times we get burnt with this thing. We just automatically believe the woman every time. Like with this Blake Lively stuff. I don't know if you guys are following it.
Oh, I've been following it, yeah.
So much coming out about this guy, and he has all the receipts, and she's just like, it's so funny because before all this came out, everybody was like, Blake Lively is a C word. Like, she has C word vibe. She it just comes off as not likable. Right?
C word vibe.
She got C word vibe. See you next Tuesday vibe. Right?
She's a mean girl, dude.
She's one of those chicks that are so hot that she's been allowed to operate in a way that nobody else is.
It's like a Jennifer
and
Aniston
her family. She's like Hollywood royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So born on third base, thinking she hit a triple.
But it's like a Jennifer Aniston vibe, right? Where it's like it's almost too hot to be sexual. It's not sexual hot to me.
Well,
I agree with that, actually.
Well, we're talking early Jennifer Aniston.
I think all of it. Yeah, she was just like uptight. Anyway, I'm saying that's what she has now, though. That vibe is.
See, I never thought like Jennifer Aniston. I thought Jennifer Aniston. The reason she had so much success, obviously, she was a product. Like her mother was a giant, I think, casting director.
Yeah. They're all. I mean,
she was juiced in, but. The reason I think everyone resonated with her because she was like cute hot to me. Like,
but
Angelina Jolie was like next level hot, even though my favorite meme is that meme where it's like her and Steve Buscemi looked exactly the same at one moment in their life. And you're like, the ugliest guy in the world and the hottest chick in the world looked exactly like the same person at one point.
Dude. I'll tell you this: if you're married to Jennifer Aniston and then you trapped, or if I was, and then you trapped me in a closed environment with fucking Angelina Jolie, that's not going well for any married guy. Yeah. If Angelina decides like, I think I'm into my co-star, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna win that battle, dude. That's no good.
But even if you kind of go into like Blake Lively's hot. You know, but when was the last time Hollywood put out an insanely hot leading actress?
Sydney Sweeney is the only one that you see in that category, but she's not like she's super sexy,
hot.
but she doesn't come off like I'm gonna fuck my co-star. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But she's downs hot. Like
I don't know what that means. She's
like
hot,
she looks like she could have the downs.
Maybe.
And
that's what Gabrielle says about her. Actually,
she's hot.
I know she didn't. Actually, Gabrielle never said that. I take that back. I didn't say that.
All right.
Gabrielle didn't say that.
Strike that from the record, right?
Yeah.
But it's like this thing I've been noticing that like the leading woman is becoming more and more, let's say, normal looking.
Yeah. And to be fair, a lot of guys have been that way for a while now. It's happening with men too.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But Sydney Sweeney's body is so fucking bananas that I can't even remember what her face looks like.
It's unreal.
It's like weird science, like she's built in a laboratory, right?
Absolutely. It hurts to look at, dude, sometimes.
And but then that video came out of her that picture came out of her with no makeup at the beach. And everyone's like, it's all on. I'm like, nope, still hot.
Yes.
No, yeah, but that was also because, dude, she's playing that fucking professional boxer. She put on 20 pounds on purpose.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? Why are we?
I don't know. What is it? Yeah, there's no reason for her to be playing that.
That's my favorite part of Hollywood. It's like she's so brave. She's playing ugly.
It was like when Charlize Theron, another incredibly beautiful woman, played that what was it, Monster?
Yeah,
or something like that. And it's like now we have deep fake. You know, you don't need to do any of this.
It's like this notion that like I'm so hot. Watch me be brave by playing ugly. It's like
it's like making your bones as an actor or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like doing the stage.
Dude, that Charlize Theron movie Monster is one of the hardest movies. Like that's a hard movie to watch. Where I'm like, God, like it's like you can kind of like know it's a good movie, and at the same time, I'm like, I'm never watching this fucking movie again.
Yeah, like Halle Berry did it too in Monsters Ball, even though she was
she looked hot though.
She was really hot in that. Yeah, dude, there was scenes with her and Billy Bob Thornton in that film. That
they fucked for real in that scene when they were filming it.
That's what I've
Which
heard.
one?
Monsters Ball, Billy Bob Thornton and Halle Berry.
Oh, they bang for real?
There's some thought.
He looks.
You've never seen that scene.
Energy.
You've never seen their like hardcore sex scene in Monsters Ball,
dude. It's crazy, bro.
And by the way, intimacy director has ruined Hollywood.
Yeah, there was none in that.
It's ruined Hollywood. It's ruined Hollywood. It's another politically correct thing that's just been installed because actresses whose careers didn't go the way they wanted start crying about fucking toxicity.
Never with Brad Pitt, by the way. It's always with some guy.
Right. Seymour Hoffman or something.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember Billy Bob came out and because they asked, and I can't remember what he said. He said something like they were just like I can't remember exactly what he said. He said something about they were all in on those roles. She won an Oscar for Best Actress. But he fucks the shit out of her in that fucking scene, and apparently that was not make believe.
Well, he has big dick energy. Like he does.
For sure.
He looks like it's like how did that guy make?
He dresses like a pirate, bro. He's
probably has
a
giant dong, dude.
Oh yeah, Hillary. Like when him and Haley were talking about it in advance, she was like, "I was hoping you were going to say that we should definitely do this for real because I've been thinking about that for a while."
Jeez.
I remember I used to have a buddy of mine who was like somewhat delusional. He's a good guy. He got mad at me one time, and we don't talk anymore, which makes me sad because I've tried to make amends with this guy 1,000 times. He just won't even talk to me. And he would just try to convince me that one time he was at the mall, and he hit on Halle Berry, and he said he had a chance. And I'm like, dude, you got no chance. It's never happening. She's getting hit on by NBA dick, okay?
Oh.
She's not going to take pasty white, redheaded Jew dick. Nobody's taking that unless you're offering movie deals.
Yeah. Or like billions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every
and this guy
Emirate.
he was like an Uber driver.
All the Emirates over
He's
there.
one of the poor Jews out there that I always go, they don't run shit. I know this I know this poor Jew that fucking Ubers.
Yeah. I had a good buddy of mine when we were sophomores in college. It was like right at the beginning of Christina Aguilera. She like just blew it. It was like, we're talking like genie in a bottle fucking Christina Aguilera. And he ran into her at something and he was there with his girl. And he's like, dude, she invited me to come with her in her limo and fucking Marcy was his girl at the time. He's like, and Marcy rolled over and just gave her the biggest fucking girlfriend eyeballs and like just completely fucked it up. And we asked Marcy, she's like, no, yeah, Christina definitely wanted to fuck Andrew. We're like, man, And all of us, like, as soon as she'd leave, she's like, you're like, dude, that's just I mean, I know he's your boyfriend, but Jesus, it's Christina Aguilera. It's almost better that your dude had banged her. You should have just let him do it, selfish bitch.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And like there's all those famous stories like Michael Jordan banging and women calling their husbands and going, Michael Jordan wants to have sex. I kind of got to go. And like, what do you say at that point? What do you say?
You say, I guess my wife's ruined for life now.
Yeah,
like,
get pregnant. Let's have a fucking
get pregnant.
It's like if you've ever put the wrong size gun in a holster for a long period of time, and you can't put a smaller gun in ever again. Dude,
you're gonna have to take a long break and let that thing get resized again, dude.
The funniest thing is how there's all these NBA players that everyone goes, is Michael Jordan their secret father? And there's two of them.
Really?
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Anthony Edwards.
And then any husband who was like, no, you can't have sex with Jordan. They're all, fuck, man.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not even with her anymore, dude. My kid, my like kind of kid could have been in the NBA.
I would totally be that dad. I'd be that dad that's holding my black kid in the cuck pictures. I'd be like, this is my son.
Yeah.
It's my son.
Hey, call me racist, dude. Go ahead and try it.
I don't care. Wait till my kid's 6 and dunking on your little fat white kid.
Filling the crib with basketballs, just fill it. Just every toy is a basketball.
So excited. I'd be like, this is your calling. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
He might have given me a son too, dude. I'm a fucking daughter machine, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me too, buddy.
That means you got too much pussy before you got married. That's
really?
what that means.
That's what everyone always says to me. Yeah, you got daughters because how you treat. That's my joke in my special. Yeah,
it's true for sure.
Because how you treat women. I'm like, why does God care that I made women come? Why is he? I didn't make anybody come.
I think it's at least my fucking working theory, just based on the prevalence of daughters in the combat sports world, is I think it's a testosterone thing. Like, I really actually believe it's unexplainable the number of fucking daughters versus sons in like the jiu-jitsu community, as an example. Like, dude. It's crazy. Of the people who train, like the guys who actually like train, you're talking 85-90% girls, for real. Like, I'm not exaggerating that. It doesn't make sense. It has to be like some kind of thing.
Wow.
There are a couple comics out there with sons, like Shab has a kid, has a boy. Shab has 2 boys. Callan has 1 boy. No, he actually has 3 boys. I just realized that. That's crazy.
Shab?
That kind of breaks the mold a little bit. Shab too.
Rogan has girls.
Yeah.
I have girls.
Anthony Smith, 4 girls. Fucking
4 girls.
I mean, yeah. Laird Hamilton, nothing but girls.
I love having daughters. And
me too.
There was a time where you were just like, oh, dude, no, who's gonna work the fields? Those days are done.
See, I still have this old school thing. Probably because I come from a farm, that I want my name to carry on.
Yeah.
It's been passed down for generations. No, there's none. I have a sister, so it's down to me.
Johnny, you got sauce. Your fake girlfriend. Are you got sauce? Are you shooting up the club, dog?
Eventually, yeah.
So